Just in case you're wondering whose side Rihanna is on in this whole Kendrick versus Drake drama, she's all in for Team Kendrick. Not just that, but it looks like Rihanna and Kendrick are teaming up to drop some new tracks, and they might even spill some more tea on Drake's sketchy ways, particularly how he deals with the ladies. If you've been keeping up, you'll know Kendrick hasn't been pulling any punches in his diss tracks, straight up calling out Drake and his OVO team for some pretty shady stuff. And guess what? The internet detectives have been on the case, digging up tons of stuff that seems to back up Kendrick's claims, and it's causing quite the stir. We've all cringed at the news of Drake's kinda weird text with Millie Bobby Brown and those dodgy fan interactions at his shows, but now there's a fresh batch of even more disturbing reports about Drake's actions, and some of the stuff is just downright nauseating. So it looks like Kendrick has the upper hand in this latest feud, but he's not stopping there. Rumor has it that Kendrick has brought Rihanna into the mix for some of his upcoming tracks aimed at exposing Drake even further, and who better than Rihanna to set Drake straight, especially after the jabs he took at her and her partner A$AP Rocky in last year's album. Yeah, Drake went there, making some pretty low blows about Rihanna, clearly showing that he's still not over her turning him down. But that's not the only reason Rihanna is done with Drake. New gossip is hinting that she cut ties because she discovered some pretty alarming stuff about Drake, stuff that edges into very questionable behavior. So what's this buzz about Rihanna and Kendrick teaming up to take down Drake, and what kind of dirt are they about to spill in their new collab? Flipping over to Rihanna's side of things, she's been out of the Drake drama for a good while, focusing on her family with A$AP Rocky and their two cute little kids, but Drake can't seem to let go of old grudges. Over 6 years after Rihanna stopped dealing with him, he dropped some petty disses on his 2023 track Fear of Heights from the album For All the Dogs. Not only did he throw shade at Rihanna's intimate life, calling her average, but he also bragged about moving on to better relationships. It's pretty cringeworthy seeing Drake hang on to these resentments, especially given his success. You'd think he'd have better things to do than diss a woman who rejected him nearly a decade ago and is now happily settled with a family. And he didn't stop with Rihanna. He even threw in a dig at A$AP Rocky, the father of her children. Honestly, it's a bad look for Drake, dragging up past beefs that everyone else has moved past. Some fans reckon Drake is just doing his usual thing, stirring the pot to hype up his album because he knows dropping Rihanna's name gets the internet buzzing. And yeah, maybe that's part of his strategy to keep the spotlight on his music. But honestly, isn't it a bit sad? Here's Drake, nearly 40, a big name in the music world, still taking shots at women from his past to make headlines. You'd think by now he'd rely on his music alone to make waves without rehashing old drama. And the real kicker, Drake's well-known crush on Rihanna makes it even more pathetic that he's dissing her now after years of practically idolizing her in public. What's kind of funny is that while Drake was all about love, Rihanna never really recognized him as her boyfriend. She pretty much treated him like a fanboy, and once their brief thing ended, she even said that she didn't want to stay friends. For a bit of backstory, Rihanna and Drake first met back in 2005 in Toronto during her Ponder Replay video shoot. Drake, bless his heart, fell hard from the get-go, gushing about her in interviews like a true fan.
I don't know, just being young and, trying to figure it all out, and very busy people, me and her, and I think that we have a connection that's established for life, and that is that I love her and support her unconditionally, and I like to think that she feels the same way, and whenever.
Still fancy her though?
Do I fancy her? Of course. I mean, who wouldn't? Look at her, she's stunning. Of course I do. Yeah, no, she's incredible, but it's one of those things that
But Rihanna, she was in her own world, soon dating Chris Brown. We all know the roller coaster that followed, ending the notorious incident before the 2009 Grammys. And who was in the backdrop the whole time? Yup, Drake, throwing shade at Chris at every turn. Yet, after Rihanna and Chris split, Drake switched gears, suddenly playing nice and even collaborating with Chris. Jump to May 2009 and the rumor mill went wild after Rihanna and Drake were seen at a bowling alley in NYC, looking like a date. Rihanna quickly shut down those rumors, making it clear that she was just having fun, nothing serious. But that didn't stop Drake from obsessing. He even wrote Fireworks, a song about their bowling hangout, singing about how it got her stuck with him. Clearly, Rihanna was anything but stuck with Drake, but that didn't keep him from bringing her up every chance he got. Since Rihanna wasn't giving Drake the same vibe, he changed his tune and started throwing shade, claiming she led him on and gave him false hope. In a 2010 interview with the New York Times, Drake mentioned that he felt like Rihanna treated him like a porn, doing to him what he admitted he'd done to many women, showing them a good time and then vanishing. But Drake just couldn't shake it off. Years later, he told Rolling Stone that Rihanna was still his ultimate fantasy. After Rihanna and Chris Brown broke up, she and Drake linked up again and collaborated in the hit track Work. Drake, true to form, made a mountain out of the molehill, convinced that this time around Rihanna would stick with him. At the 2016 VMAs, when he was presenting Rihanna with the Vanguard Award, he even went as far as to publicly declare his love for her. But judging by her reaction, it was clear that she wasn't feeling the same way.
We love the music which can change styles from album to album. We love the videos which change their artistic vision from year to year. But most of all, we love the woman who hasn't changed since day one. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old.
Back when Drake made that speech at the VMAs, a lot of fans called him out for hijacking Rihanna's big moment to confess his love for her. And it turns out Rihanna just felt as awkward about it as everyone else. She later told Vogue that sitting through Drake's gushy speech was probably the most uncomfortable part for her. She's not big on compliments or being spotlighted like that. But there's more. Rihanna also shared that she and Drake were no longer in touch and clarified that they weren't even friends. "We don't have a friendship now, but we're not enemies either. It is what it is," she said. Despite this, Drake being Drake couldn't let it go. Even after Rihanna made it clear that she had no intention of getting serious with him, Drake kept talking about her like a bitter ex. In 2018, he appeared on the LeBron James and Maverick Carter's HBO series The Shop and confessed that he'd always dreamed of starting a family with Rihanna.
This whole speech of like, you know, I'm in a great place, I'm making money, and I'm a father, and I want to, you know, be Quincy Jones.
By then, Drake was already dealing with his own personal developments, having just come out about his son Adonis. While he was excited about fatherhood, he told LeBron that it wasn't the fairy tale ending he'd hoped for, which for him meant settling down with Rihanna. Again, Rihanna never officially called Drake her boyfriend, but Drake seemed to think that she would settle down and start a family with him. By the time it came out that Drake had been hiding his son, Rihanna was already over him. She never publicly dissed him or aired his dirty laundry, though she easily could have. Instead, she chose to take the high road and stop talking about Drake altogether. In fact, her 2018 Vogue interview discussing Drake's VMA speech was the last time she publicly mentioned him. However, after Drake unexpectedly dissed Rihanna and Rocky on his latest album, rumors started flying around that Rihanna was ready to have her say. They're reportedly working on new music, according to the Twitter account Popstuff, 7 years after their Grammy-winning collaboration on Loyalty from Kendrick's album Damn. With Kendrick having already called out Drake and his crew pretty harshly, what more could Kendrick and Rihanna reveal? While we don't know for sure until the music drops, there is chatter that Rihanna's got some insights into Drake's questionable behavior around women, which is supposedly a big reason she cut him off. You've probably seen those rumors about Drake being sketchy and the videos where he's a bit too touchy with his young fans. And then there's the whole situation with Millie Bobby Brown. Drake, who befriended the 14-year-old actress, apparently texted her often and even took her out to dinner. On top of that, fresh rumors and blind items are cropping up about Drake's questionable behavior around young women. But it gets even darker. Remember Kendrick Lamar's diss track Meet the Grahams? In it, Kendrick goes hard at Drake, even comparing him to Harvey Weinstein. He lays into Drake with some heavy accusations, telling Drake's mom Sandra to brace herself because her son's a sick man with sick thoughts, and suggesting that men like him deserve harsh punishment. Kendrick doesn't just throw around baseless claims. His words suggest that he might actually know something concrete about Drake's actions. Kendrick ramps it up in another track, Not Like Us, where he outright labels Drake and his crew using a derogatory term and hints that it's only a matter of time before Drake's place gets raided like Diddy's. With accusations this serious, many are convinced that Kendrick must be sitting on some solid proof. And now, some of that dirt is starting to come out online, painting a really grim picture. While these are just allegations, the chorus of voices online makes you wonder if there's at least some truth to them. For instance, there's a buzzing Reddit thread where someone claimed a model from Toronto said Drake has women doing bizarre things involving dog bowls. So it's pretty clear there are a lot of sketchy things surrounding Drake and the people he hangs out with. Does this mean that he's actually guilty of what Kendrick hinted at in his diss track? Well, that's all just rumors for now. But you know how it goes. When there's smoke, there's usually fire. There are tons of weird stories and accusations about Drake that make you wonder what's really going on. By the way, isn't it odd that despite being almost 40 and in the spotlight for over 2 decades, Drake has never publicly dated anyone? Plus, it seems like everyone who's been involved with with him cuts ties pretty quickly. And of course, there's Rihanna. Will she finally reveal more of Drake's secrets in her rumored collab with Kendrick Lamar? We'll see. But it seems like the public already has its suspicions about Drake. Even his biggest fans are starting to say something's off and needs to be looked into. One fan even mentioned how ignoring stories about Drake is how we ended up with situations like Diddy and R. Kelly. Cat Williams said it best: big-time deviants will eventually have to face the music. Don't be surprised if we hear about Canadian authorities raiding his place in the near future. Another fan said they think Drake makes great music and used to be a favorite until his style changed, but they've always thought he was a weirdo who needs investigating. So what do you think about all this? How do you feel about the potential Rihanna and Kendrick collab? And what's your take on these allegations about Drake? Drop a comment and let's chat.